Hello, this is Cordell with Small Apartment Investors. In this presentation, I want to highlight Robert Kiyosaki. Now, what is Small Apartment Investors? The website, I've included a lot of information about owning apartments, investing in apartments, managing in apartments, but I also have some information about self-improvement or mindset. So the goal of Small Apartment Investors is to help apartment owners in the Bay Area who own properties that are 5 to 50 units to help them create $200,000 in net annual residual income. And this is done by following a formula, and that is mindset plus skill set plus performance equals results. So in this presentation, I'm going to talk about mindset and skill set as it relates to Robert Kiyosaki. So he actually wrote multiple books. And this one is going to talk about the cash flow quadrant. Now, it is astonishing to look at how in school there's little education that talks about entrepreneurship or making money. And the result is millions of financially illiterate people walk around. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that live paycheck to paycheck at the mercy of others who are financially intelligent. The lack of knowledge is compounded by psychological issues to do with money. We find it difficult to be logical about something that goes to the very core of our survival. In the place of logic is fear, including not wanting to know the true state of our spending and income patterns. Robert, he starts his argument in his book by saying that everyone lives out one of the four different criteria of the quadrant. Either you're an employee, self-employed, a business owner, or an investor. Okay. So when the E needs money, they automatically look for a job. Their keyword is security, and they believe a wage person provides this. An S person, on the other hand, will do something to make money on their own. Their keywords are perfectionism and control. They have to make sure things are done right, which means doing it their way. In comparison to B, they start or buy a system that generates money, and they put money into that system that will produce more money without having them being directly involved in that venture. Now, Robert, he identifies the basic cash flow patterns of the poor, the rich, the middle class. For the poor and the middle class, most of what they earn comes from jobs. And as soon as they receive it, it goes out again for expenses and debts. And all that varies in the amount of which they earn. This is the cash flow pattern of E person. Most of the income of the rich, in contrast, comes from assets. All liabilities are paid for as they arise, and the cash is generated by assets. So, true enough, there are times when a person has just tough circumstances and they can't get out the hole. And sometimes it's because of their doing, and sometimes it's bad circumstances. But regardless, there have been many times where a person has pulled themselves out of that hole. The middle class cash flow pattern is considered normal. It makes you look like you're doing good, but in fact, you're going month to month. Most people, even though it's high salary, they work at a financial red line. The money goes into the bank account. As quickly it comes in, it goes out. Now, The golden rule of personal finances: pay yourself first. But most people continually work to earn money, while others, including their boss and the government, live off the labors of others. People who cannot control their cash flow work for those who can. In this information age we live in, it is a madness to rely on a wage to nearly supply all your income. To win back your time and get control, money has to come from cash generating assets. And the people who work physically the hardest get paid the least. You see it. Yet most people still believe in hard work, spend more. An asset has something that puts money into my pocket. Your house, if you own a house, is not an asset unless you own it outright and you're about to sell it or you rent it out. But then you have to buy somewhere else to live anyway. Otherwise, it's a liability. If your income goes up to buy a bigger house, you have to take on more debt. You look richer, but nothing's changed. You're still putting all your money into something that is making money for someone else and not you. People on the left side of the quadrant tend to blame others for their plight, when the real reason for situations lack of knowledge about money. They base their financial lives on opinions such as your house is an asset or you need money to make money. There are sometimes limiting beliefs that are attached to a person's brain. With everything you do and you look at the facts, you have to look at it like, okay, just analyze it. So people on the right-hand side of the quadrant, in contrast, have become successful by trusting facts. They think in numbers, not words. If you simply want to visually or emotionally look at information as an investor does, what they do is they create their own picture of an investment by numbers and knowledge. Wealthy people put more time into investing and they get better results. So it all starts with education. Of course, you don't know what you don't know. And at times, if a person does not grow up around where at the table conversations are talking about that kind of stuff, it's going to be a long road until somebody reads a book or meets somebody to open up their eyes. So that's kind of like what I'm trying to accomplish here, is to help open eyes, get the mindset, including myself. I'm not where I want to be with my goals, but by giving out game, I'm getting game myself, hopefully. All right, so that's about it right here for this quadrant on this side. And let's see what else. So if you look at this, is this little grid is breaking it down even further. Employee works for someone else, values job security, good benefits, has money, but no time to enjoy it for the employee, can never stop working. Look at the business owner. Unlimited potential income, leverages teamwork rather than individuals' work. So this is a great slide right here for you and I to look at. Now, sometimes the educated tend to sneer at the power and freedom of the rich. If you have an advanced degree, you have a sense of entitlement, but capitalism favors those with financial intelligence. Wealth over time flows from the people on the left of the quadrant to those on the right. When laws change and legislations change, markets crash, those on the right wait and they're ready to seize assets. Money's a drug. People become addicted to paid employment. They're happy when they get paid, and they are miserable and anxious when they don't. The folks on the right-hand side, the B and I, have a mindset, different mindset, on the other hand, and can remain confident, upbeat, when they have little, knowing that things will change. They're intent on creating business systems that generate cash flow, that generate money. When an E person tries to become a B, often there will be a violent internal reaction, since the move seems to go against their very survival. The part of that still seeks security is in a war with that part of you that wants freedom. It is easy to forget what you set out to do, what you're aiming for. Now, when that fearful emotion crowds in, things change. You have to remember that the passion you had for change, because passion builds businesses, not fear. The shift from one quadrant to another is a big mental step. Take small steps rather than going for the big one. You have to think long term and have a vision. It's not about getting rich quick. There's no such thing as that. That's a farce. Before you can have, you have to be. There's a thing called be, do, have. Be, do, have. So if I want to have something, I have to be it, and then I have to do it, and then I'm going to have it. Be, do, have. Now, many people believe that trying to copy how the rich people live will make them rich. It won't. Much more important is to think like someone that does have financial means. You have to change the invisible to change the visible. And the invisible is what you think and how to process things. There's another great slide right here that expands the concept of the cash flow quadrant. So the primary difference between the rich and everyone else is the different attitude to failure. The reason there are few self-made rich people is because few people can tolerate disappointment. Instead of learning to face disappointment, they spend their lives avoiding it. If you can learn to expect disappointment, yet move on without falling down on your face and giving up, of trying to get your goals, trying to reach for success, even though it won't seem like it at the time, you will be more successful than others. Now, people try new business ideas and are excited at the beginning. They soon give up, blaming the idea. The mentality of the business owner and the investor is different. They know success takes time. It's not just one day, boom, successful. It's a process. I heard this quote that says, you have to take the stairs to success. There's no elevator. Now, in the book, he talks about financial IQ is 90% emotional IQ and only 10% technical information about finance or money. People on the right side of the quadrant have fears also, but they actively try to master them while they're trying to go after their goals. That's it right here for Robert Kiyosaki. Hopefully some of this information can help. I have in my archives about 12 of these I'm going to roll out. This is the first one, and then hopefully I can have some more to help develop mindset and skill set. Have a wonderful day, y'all.